A peaceful morning in Bluey's garden. But then, an unexpected discovery appeared.
Oh!
It seems like this is a treasure map.
Oh!
The little adventure began right in the familiar garden. On the way to find the treasure, the whole family continued to tend to their gardens. And then, the treasure was found! The treasure wasn't gold or silver, but the joy of family. A simple day, but a memorable one. Bluey and Bingo are having a lot of fun skateboarding on the rink. The panda notices the skateboard rolling back and forth. The panda decides to try skateboarding for the first time. The panda stands very carefully on the small board. The board starts to move, making the panda wobble a little. A short slide is enough to make the panda very excited. Things quickly become very funny. The new way of skateboarding makes the whole rink more lively. All three skateboard in their own way. A simple game is enough to create a very fun moment. Bluey decided to organize a family picnic. Everything needed was neatly prepared.
Oh.
Huh? Bingo was also eager to join the picnic. The picnic spot was chosen.
Whoa! Whoa!
The picnic began to take shape. The fun time made the picnic even more lively.
Yippee!
The whole family enjoyed the outdoors. A simple picnic was enough to bring joy to the whole family. The memory box. A quiet afternoon. A small box sits in the center of the table. A handwritten label on the outside reads, Memories. Dad looks around and gently opens a drawer. He takes out an old key, worn by time. Smiling softly, he places it into the box. Mom stands by the shelf. She takes a neatly folded old photograph, gently smooths the corner, then places it into the box. Sister runs back to her room. She brings out a slightly worn hair ribbon. She looks at it for a moment longer, then puts it in. Little brother quietly bends down to the floor. He picks up a small, scratched toy, nods to himself, and places it into the box. The whole family sits in a circle. The box is placed in the middle. Dad opens the lid. The first item is taken out. Everyone looks at each other, pointing, guessing. As each item appears, surprised gestures, soft nods, gentle laughter. As the items are laid back on the table, the family sits closer together. Bluey had just finished his treasure map. But a sudden gust of wind appeared. The treasure map was blown away by the wind. Bluey tried to catch the map. The wind continued to push the map out into the yard.
Huh?
The map wouldn't stop. The wind carried the map further away.
Huh?
Bluey didn't give up. Finally, the map slowed down. Bluey retrieved the treasure map. But the map was no longer intact. Bluey realized something important. Sometimes the treasure is right where the adventure ends. Bluey decided to turn their home into a family sports day. The final station required coordination. Bluey tried her hand at the first race. The second station required dexterity. Bingo also wanted to join the challenge. The next station tested quick reflexes. Yahoo! Maintaining balance was a difficult challenge. Whoa! Everyone took turns.
Ha! Let's go!
Hooray!
station required coordination. The final station required coordination. The family sports day brought laughter and positive energy. Secret gift box. A quiet morning. No need to rush. Things don't always need to be done quickly. And then, a special friend visits. Slowness has its own charm. When we slow down, we learn more. A gentle morning when everyone feels relaxed. No need for perfection. Just enjoy the moment. When there's no rush, joy comes naturally. Everyone has their own rhythm of life.
Bye-bye.
Sometimes slowing down is the best way to enjoy life. A fresh morning is perfect for the whole family to do some light exercise. Warming up prepares the body for the activities that follow. Everyone has their own way of exercising, but they're all lovely. Gentle exercise makes the body feel more relaxed.
Oh.
No need to compare because everyone has their own pace. Breathing evenly helps to improve mood. exercise is enough to bring positive energy.
Aha!
Drinking water after exercise is a very important habit. Moments of rest help the body recover better. Starting the day with light exercise helps the whole family stay healthy and happy. Bluey arrived at the beach with a big idea. Bluey began preparing the sand to build a sandcastle. The first sandcastle appeared. Bluey wanted his sandcastle to be even bigger. The sandcastle began to take on a clearer shape. Bingo also joined in to help build the sandcastle.
Huh?
Bluey found more decorations for the sandcastle. The sandcastle became very beautiful and special. The approaching waves made Bluey a little nervous.
Oh no!
Aha!
The sandcastle was more carefully protected. Bluey was very proud of his sandcastle. Even a simple beach outing can bring great joy. One fine day, the family decided to wash their beloved car. When you're too excited, things can easily become excessive. Doing things the right way makes the job easier. Saving money is part of caring for the environment. Safety is always paramount. It's okay to make a small mistake, as long as you know how to correct it. Being tidy helps things finish faster. When working together, the joy always outweighs the fatigue. Bluey decided to organize a family picnic. Everything needed was neatly prepared. Bingo was also eager to join the picnic. The picnic spot was chosen. The picnic began to take shape. The fun time made the picnic even more lively. The whole family enjoyed the outdoors. A simple picnic was enough to bring joy to the whole family.
Huh. Oh no! Oh no!
Bingo has a stomachache.
The experiment slide. Bluey and Bingo are setting up a small laboratory. They use a chair and a plank to create a simple, steep slide. Bluey retrieves her first test subject, a round rubber ball. She places it at the top of the plank and lets it go. The ball flies quickly down the ramp and bounces across the floor. Bingo giggles and tries to catch it, amused by the speed. Bluey places the block on the ramp and releases it. The block slides slowly, coming to a gentle stop at the bottom with a quiet thud.
The two girls look at each other. Bluey gives a serious nod, as if she understands the lesson about friction. Bingo smiles, satisfied with the results of their experiment.
Fixing the bike in the yard afternoon. A bicycle is leaning against the wall. The back tire is flat, completely deflated. Dad bends down and squeezes the tire. He shakes his head and sighs. Dad grabs a hand pump and attaches it to the valve. Mom stands beside him, holding the bike frame firmly. Sister runs into the house. She brings out a wrench and a cleaning rag. Little brother bustles around, hands over the wrong tool, then quickly switches. The wheel spins hard. The bike suddenly tilts. Mom almost slips. Dad quickly grabs the bike. Whoosh! The wheel pops off the axle and rolls fast across the yard. Little brother runs after it. Sister runs too. The whole yard erupts in chaos. Dad puts the wheel back on. Dad pumps a few more times. Dad spins the wheel to test it. Mom pushes the bike to the center of the yard. Sister hops on and rides a lap. The bike rolls perfectly. Little brother claps and cheers. Mom and Dad laugh together. Lost together, found together. Bluey begins her treasure hunt in the garden. An X on the map points to a very familiar corner. Bluey digs down excitedly. Something is lying beneath the soil. The first treasure is revealed. Bluey recognizes it as an old toy. Bluey decides to dig a little further. Another old toy appears. Bingo is also curious about this unexpected treasure. This time, it seems to be a real box. The treasure turns out to be old toys that have been buried and forgotten. Old things can also bring new joy. Saving a broken plant, a calm afternoon after the rain. The little brother runs around the garden, then suddenly stops. He points. A young plant has been bent and broken by the wind, its stem leaning close to the ground. The little brother bends down to look, his face turning sad. The sister steps closer, gently touches the stem, and shakes her head worriedly. Dad examines the break carefully and nods with a decision. Dad gently straightens the plant's stem. Mom holds the base, adds more soil, pressing it firmly around the roots. The sister places 2 wooden stakes on either side. The little brother passes the string, carefully tying it around the stem. The string is tightened just enough, not too tight. A light breeze. A gentle wind blows. The plant stands firm. Its leaves tremble softly, no longer leaning. The family applauds as if they've just saved someone. After many days of use, the family car also needs some maintenance. Bluey and Bingo wanted to help Bandit with this. Taking care of things is a way of showing concern. Bandit showed us how to check the important parts. Working together made everything easier. The car looks completely different now. Taking care of things is a way of showing concern.
Whoa!
A small thing, but it brings joy to the whole family. These familiar toys have been here for a long time. It's time to take care of them. Every toy needs gentle treatment. Chilli teaches how to fix the little things. Repairing is also a way of showing love. Old toys look like new. The memories are still there. They just need to be cared for. Old toys bring new joy. Outdoor cooking transforms an ordinary day into a happy picnic. Bluey begins setting up the picnic area. Everything needed is brought out into the yard. Preparation is also part of the fun. Bingo wants to join Bluey in cooking. Bluey is very serious about her dish. The outdoor picnic area is gradually being completed. Carrying food outside requires care. The outdoor meal is ready. A simple but joyful meal. Outdoor cooking transforms an ordinary day into a happy picnic. Where's the car? The family gets into their car. Doors close. Seatbelts click. Everyone looks ready and excited. Inside the supermarket, quick montage. An empty cart rolls in. Items pile up fast. The cart is now overflowing. At the register, the receipt prints and prints and prints. Dad stares at it nervously. Mom nods calmly. Outside the store, the family pushes the heavy cart forward. Dad strains. Mom helps steer. The kids push proudly. They move far, very far, like they're walking home. They stop. Dad looks around. No car. Dad pulls out the car keys. Mom slowly turns and looks back toward the store. The family car sits alone in the parking lot. Back to the family, standing far away. Dad scratches his head, embarrassed. Mom crosses her arms, amused. The kids giggle. A small idea can create a whole new space. A mini library is formed from simple things. And then a curious visitor appears. Not everyone knows how to be gentle from the start. When you know how to adjust, everything becomes more pleasant. Respect makes the space warm. Each page of a book opens up a small world. When you know how to cherish it, joy will last longer. A small corner is enough to bring peace. When we learn to appreciate books, we learn to appreciate everything around us. Today, the whole family planted a new tree. Everything looks fine.
Yay!
Oh!
Bandit feels something isn't quite right. The tree's name doesn't match its shape.
Out!
It turns out the sign was stuck upside down. Just a little adjustment was all it took. The garden looks neat again. Sometimes you just need to look a little closer. The home cook-off. Mom is calmly cooking. Bluey and Bingo watch closely, eyes sparkling. Dad peeks in wearing an apron, upside down. Dad claps his hands excitedly, points at the counter, gestures, competition. Bluey and Bingo cheer silently, fists in the air. 3 chefs rush to grab ingredients. Bluey grabs everything at once, drops half of it. Bingo carefully selects just a few items. Dad secretly adds something strange, a toy carrot. Mom watches, amused. Dad tastes his dish, winces, adds more of the wrong ingredient. Each dish is placed on the table. Bluey's dish is huge and messy. Bingo's dish is tiny but neat. Dad's dish, slightly smoking. Mom raises an eyebrow. Mom tastes. Bluey's, surprised but impressed. Bingo's, eyes widen with delight. Dad's, long pause. Polite smile. Quick sip of water. Bluey and Bingo giggle. Mom points to all 3 dishes, gives a thumbs up. The family sits together, sharing food. Dad secretly swaps his plate with Bluey's. Today, the whole family planted a new tree. Everything looks fine. Bandit feels something isn't quite right. The tree's name doesn't match its shape. It turns out the sign was stuck upside down. Just a little adjustment was all it took. The garden looks neat again. Sometimes you just need to look a little closer.
Faces of emotion. Chilli sits on the floor with Bluey and Bingo, holding a small, magical hand mirror. Chilli looks into the mirror and then makes a very sad face, with her ears drooping slightly. Bluey and Bingo observe closely, and then they both imitate that sad expression in the most adorable way. Suddenly, Chilli changes. She flashes a big, bright smile at her daughters. Immediately, the sisters grin back, mimicking their mom's spreading happiness. Chilli looks into the mirror and then makes a very sad face, with her ears drooping slightly. Everyone bursts out laughing happily and shares a big, warm hug on the rug. What a fun lesson about feelings! The balancing act. Bluey spots a bird perched on the fence and decides to challenge herself with a little balancing game. She slowly lifts one leg, arms out wide, trying to keep her body as still as a statue. But balancing is harder than it looks. Bluey begins to wobble and her little legs start to shake. Dad Bandit notices and steps right beside her. He circles his hands around her, creating a silent safety zone. Seeing her dad's hands nearby, Bluey feels a surge of confidence. She takes a deep breath and regains her focus. Thanks to the silent support, Bluey holds her balance longer than before. She feels strong and very capable. Counting the stairs. Bluey and Bingo stand ready for a simple challenge, climbing the staircase. Bluey starts her climb, and Bandit begins to clap rhythmically, each clap matching a step. Bingo is slightly confused at first, but she quickly finds the rhythm, trying to sync her tiny steps with the claps. The two girls are halfway up. Bandit claps louder and clearer, helping them maintain the count. Bluey glances back to check her dad's rhythm. Bingo misses a step and pauses. She concentrates hard, then steps forward, determined to catch the rhythm of her dad's counting. Finally, Bluey steps onto the last stair, and Bingo follows closely behind.
A relaxing afternoon, Chilli took the kids shopping. For Bluey and Bingo, every trip is full of fun. Shopping is also a way to learn how to help. Not everything needs to be brought home. Everything has its own order. Helping each other with small things makes everyone happy. The trip wasn't long, but it was full of experiences. Simple things make a day meaningful. Bluey and Bingo just finished planting a little tree. But the weather started to change. A sudden gust of wind blew the little tree over. We all had to act quickly. Bluey cleverly came up with a way to save the tree. Everyone had a task. The little tree was saved. Taking care of a tree is like taking care of each other. Bluey discovered an empty corner in the garden. Bluey decided to plant a new tree. Bluey began preparing the planting spot. Bluey wanted the tree to be planted in a suitable place. The small tree was placed down very gently. Bluey watered the newly planted tree. Bluey tried placing the tree in a cooler spot. Bingo also wanted to help plant the tree. The small tree gradually took root in the soil. Bluey marked the planting spot for the new tree.
Wow.
The garden looked more beautiful with the new tree. A small tree can also bring great joy. A leisurely afternoon begins with simple sheets of paper.
Oh.
Whoa!
Not every airplane flies beautifully from the start. Everyone has their own way of being creative. A small race is about to begin. When you spread your wings together, the results are always full of surprises. Losing one round doesn't mean giving up. When you know how to adjust, things will improve. A race isn't just about winning.
Oh.
When playing with family, the fun is more important than the result. Every time you try, you learn something new. The final cake in the kitchen. The son and daughter stand on chairs in front of the counter. Flour, eggs, and milk are spread everywhere. The two kids look at each other and nod with determination. The cake comes out of the oven, looking a bit misshapen. They take a bite. Their faces scrunch up. The cake doesn't taste good. They look at each other, disappointed. Dad walks into the kitchen, rolls up his sleeves, looking very confident. He adds more ingredients and turns the oven up higher. Smoke starts to rise. The cake burns. The kitchen fills with smoke. The kids cover their noses. Dad scratches his head, embarrassed. Mom walks in, opens the window, and turns off the oven. She calmly tidies up the kitchen. Mom starts again from scratch, measures the ingredients properly. stirs, gently sets the oven to the right temperature. The kids watch, eyes shining. The new cake comes out of the oven. Golden and fragrant, the whole family takes a bite. The kids' eyes light up as they nod again, and again Dad gives a thumbs up. The whole family laughs. The cleanup squad. The playroom looks like a toy battle just happened. Bluey and Bingo have played hard, but now it's time to tidy up. Mom Chilli enters with a gentle smile. She signals that it's time to send all the toy friends back to their homes. Bluey turns cleaning into a game. The sisters pretend to be cleanup robots on a special rescue mission. Robot Bluey gathers the red blocks, while Robot Bingo takes charge of the blue ones. The cleaning race is on. There's a giant passenger in need of help. Together, the sisters join forces to carry the big teddy bear back to its spot. The last few pieces are finally found. The room begins to appear clean, tidy, and spacious once again. Mom returns and is so impressed. Bluey and Bingo high-five, celebrating their successful mission. The fish tank mistake. A fish tank sits neatly on a table. The fish swim happily. Dad sprinkles fish food carefully, nodding with satisfaction. Dad feeds the fish. Fish swim up excitedly. The kids press their faces to the glass, pointing. One day, Dad is busy. Mom picks up a white container that looks like fish food. Mom pours it into the tank. The water turns cloudy. Mom looks at the container again. Salt. Mom's eyes widen. The whole family springs into action. Dad gently moves the fish into a temporary bowl. Mom drains the tank. The kids carry buckets of water very seriously. Music speeds up slightly. Fresh water is poured in. The filter turns on. The fish are carefully returned to the tank. Everyone leans in, holding their breath. The fish start swimming again, happy and lively. The kids jump with joy. Dad exhales in relief. Mom smiles awkwardly and pats her chest. Bluey begins drawing a strange picture on paper. The drawing suddenly changes right before Bluey's eyes. Aha! The drawing begins guiding Bluey. The drawing transforms differently in each location. Bingo and Bluey decipher the mysterious drawing. The drawing leads Bluey to the backyard. Whoa! The treasure is finally found. The changing drawing led Bluey to a treasure trove of creativity. A familiar sound echoed from outside. The ice cream truck was passing through the neighborhood. But the ice cream truck didn't stop. Bluey decided to chase it. kept changing direction. Finally, Bluey saw it again. Bluey used every means possible to go faster. The distance was gradually closing. The truck finally stopped. The chase ended with a cool reward. A ride around the neighborhood became a sweet memory. Behind the house was a small, fascinating forest. Bluey began her exploration. A small path led Bluey deeper into the forest. Each tree trunk had a different shape. The small forest looked vibrant. The journey included small challenges. It was cooler inside the forest than outside. Bingo also wanted to explore with Bluey. There were many new things in the forest. Exploration gradually came to an end. Everyone reunited after the trip. A small forest can also offer a great adventure. Cleaning the old storage room morning. The back storage room door opens. The whole family stands in front of the room, filled with old boxes, covered items, and light cobwebs. Dad rolls up his sleeves and lifts a heavy box. Mom opens a notebook and quickly draws 3 sections. Keep, throw away, reuse. Sister opens an old box. An old toy car rolls out. Little brother's eyes go wide. The family looks at each other, then smiles. Quick, playful moments. Dad pushes the car. It hits a table leg and bounces back. Mom releases the car. It rolls in circles. Sister and brother fight over controlling it. Bump! Into an empty box. Everyone bursts out laughing. The storage room becomes brighter, cleaner, more open. The family sits down on the storage room floor. All let out a relieved sigh, smiling softly. It's time the room got tidied up. But cleaning doesn't have to be boring. Bluey turns cleaning into a little game. Every task has its own meaning.
Huh?
Working together makes everything easier. Tidying up makes the room more pleasant. The result is something to be proud of. A tidy room for a good night's sleep. Bluey and Bingo wave goodbye to Dad and head to school. They walk happily down the street. After a few steps, Bingo reaches behind her back. No backpack. Bluey notices and points. Bingo quickly pulls out a phone and makes a call. Back at home, Dad is sipping coffee. The phone rings. He listens, nods confidently, and taps his chest. I've got this. He rushes inside and grabs a backpack. Bluey and Bingo wait near the school entrance, a little worried. From afar, Dad runs toward them, out of breath, holding the backpack high. The kids relax. Bingo takes the backpack and opens it. Inside, adult clothes, a scarf, random items. Bluey leans in, then covers her mouth, giggling. Bingo freezes. Dad looks inside the bag, looks at the kids, realizes this is Mom's backpack. He scratches his head, embarrassed. The three stare at each other for a beat. They all burst into silent laughter.